America. Did you miss me? I have another lesson for you.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I'm your host, Chris. And with me today, we have a special guest. It is Sandra. How you doing, Sandra?
Hey guys, thank you for having me again.
We loved having you. And also, of course, like always, it's James. How you doing, James?
Tired, man. Can't wait till this week is over. Let's go.
It's
It's
supposed
only
to
Wednesday.
I
it's
know.
supposed to warm up next week for us up in the
Wait, in the
northern
30s next week or the 40s?
Right
30s,
above freezing.
maybe 40.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about how amazing it was today, but not gonna lie, we got in out here in Houston, it was 70s and
Oh,
no jackets and optional
oh, that
flip
hurts.
flops and shorts.
Oh, that hurts a lot
It
to
was
hear.
actually sorry about that. It was actually hot and we're in the 70s and next week we're in the 80s.
Oh my god, heat wave next week.
Oh, yeah. You guys went in the 30s, 40s next week?
30s and 40s, and
Yeah.
probably some snow to go along with it.
That
All right.
that sounds like fun.
But we have water security. That's what we have out here. All right.
Yeah, that's something.
That's
That's
something.
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 It's not
Uh,
nothing.
it's not nothing. All right. So today we are going to be talking Wonder Man, the new
Yes.
8-episode series on Disney Plus, the newest MCU project. But is it? Because will we see him? We don't know. All right.
Hmm.
So this is interesting series. Kind of came. I don't want to say out of nowhere because there were advertisements and whatnot, but it just dropped. Like it didn't feel like Disney or Marvel was like, I think we got something here, guys. So we're gonna piecemeal this out. They kind of just dropped it in the middle of January, and we're like, okay, good, here we go. And so I want you guys to tell me, you know, what interested you, what drove you to watch this show after some ups and downs of previous MCU television, and whether have you watched, Sandra? I don't know if you've watched all of the MCU television, or are you a piecemeal watcher?
I watched a good number of them. Um, there may be like a handful. I was like, I started and didn't finish because I forgot I started it because it was so boring. And I jumped on to like another, I was be honest, another series. And I was like, oh, wait, I forgot. I started many years ago, not worth it. Um, yeah, so this is so I don't know if you want me to answer that question, jump right into
Yeah,
your
go
question
ahead.
or what.
And
Um,
then
I actually heard zero promotion about it. If I also have to be very, very honest, I had deleted my Disney Plus app as I'm protesting everything. So
mm,
I wouldn't have known that this was coming out. But also, I watch lots of other shows and I'm on IG and I didn't see anything about this. I was on TikTok for before I deleted that app. And now I happen to be on Instagram and I saw one of the accounts I followed said that um, so there's a Haitian superhero. I thought it was a joke. And I
Ah.
was like, are they being funny? And then I started reading a little bit more. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I got with James, and James was like, no, the whole thing dropped. So once you tell me the whole thing drops, I'm going to give it a chance because I don't have to wait week over week.
mm-hmm.
And so I knew nothing about the plot, which I kind of like because I have no expectations, and I like to. I'm one of those people that like to watch with like zero expectations, and I like that because then I can appreciate it, can develop, and then I can be surprised, and I experience it um, very organically, really, and uninfluenced by anything. So kind of, for lack of a better word, pure.
Right.
So that's how I came to watch it. I didn't even know if it was good, bad, or other, but I was like, I'm interested in this.
All right. James, what about you? Did you? Obviously, we're more in on the Marvel DC
Nerds.
universe all the time,
Nerds.
but were you interested, as you have had probably the lowest you know grading for a lot of the
He's a tough grader.
shows?
Just
He
be
is.
just to say he's a very tough grader. You've gotta really you gotta be
Listen,
on it. James is gonna come for
listen.
you.
In a sea of garbage, we were still able to get Andor season 2 and The Task from HBO.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm not giving
Yes.
out excuses.
Paradise. Paradise.
I don't accept a pen paradise. I don't accept
Yeah.
excuses.
Absolutely.
I did hear about this for a while now. I heard about it because in Comic Con 24, I think it was the last one I went to. It was part of Marvel's panels of upcoming releases, and that's the only thing that they said at the time, because they had like a cover art, and we knew the character was going to be blackwashed, lack of a better word, from white to black, but not much else. But that was thrown in with like Agatha all along, a bunch of other stuff that Marvel TV was going to do right before Kevin Feige made that proclamation that Disney Marvel's new edict would be to cut back on the volume and focus on quality. So then all of a sudden the show got shelved, and then I forgot about it, and then the trailers started releasing like late last year, around November or so, October, November, and I wasn't interested. Like you said, Chris, I was like, nah, this ain't cutting it. But then they started doing something like in December, around the holidays. They started splicing these new trailers that would focus on moments between Ben Kingsley and Yaya. And I was like, there's something cooking in here. And then, to Sandra's point, that's that first week, that Monday before the show dropped, I heard that the character not only was black, but was going to be Haitian American. And then they hired a Haitian American consultant on the show to make it as authentic as they could. That's when I was like, ah, shit, I gotta watch this shit. I gotta watch this shit. Represent my peoples. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I would have seen just in passing your general advertisements, but it really didn't click. Now I'm the opposite. I'm gonna watch it all. I'm gonna watch any crap they drop. I hate to say it. I'm there. I've got the Disney app. I got Disney Plus Hulu. I'm gonna watch it all. Doesn't matter. So it's always nice when it's a surprise that you're like enjoying it. And one way I know that it's different is when someone else in my family goes, "Hey, I heard this was good." And that's like it's like a little switch that goes, "Oh, I guess we have to all sit down together and take time and really watch." You know what I mean? So this was it was a pleasant surprise. Not that I disliked, again, unlike James, I'm not as hard of a grader, but yeah, it was definitely interesting. It wasn't a big release, but I think it did a lot of things right. And as we get into this, I'll be more specific about that. So what we have here, it was created for television by Destin Daniel Cretton, and you'll know him from what was it? I know it was another superhero thing.
Marvel.
I thought he did the.
Let me see.
I'm looking at it. I don't see it.
Oh, he did Shang-Chi.
Oh,
Oh,
that's why. Okay, I'm in producers.
He
Not
was a
in
director
direct
for Shang-Chi.
director. Yes, he was the director of Shang.
And he will be the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day next year. Oh, this year. Sorry.
oh wow.
Next year.
Which I think we all, as I know, me and James enjoyed Shang-Chi when it came out.
I did.
Sandra, did you enjoy Shang-Chi?
I did. I thought it was very, very good. It's good.
Okay. So, and as James mentioned, so we got lead roles by Yahya Abdul Mateen and Ben Kingsley. Um, Interesting how Ben Kingsley and this character of Trevor Slattery has blossomed out of this kind of make fans angry, this kind of twist on an old character, and then turning into kind of a joke, and then actually now coming around and being this kind of amazing little character within this universe.
Mm.
Um, and it kind of drove the show. Him and Simon Williams, Trevor and Simon, um, their relationship really was the engine that made this show go.
Yeah.
Um, it all right. I'm just gonna go this way. What did you guys think was the first moment in the show that you went, oh, yeah, this is something. This is something different.
The first moment,
Yeah, I'm thinking. Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
ready
like,
for that one.
is it right away when you open up and Simon's in the mirror and he's doing funny stuff and then whatever, or is it wasn't until he
you
blew up,
know,
you know?
I'll say this. I'll say when it's not a moment. It's hard for me to describe, but Yaya, I've seen in lots of other movies and shows actually, and I really like him as an actor. So when he's on screen, you typically kind of care if that makes sense, right? Because he
No, it
does
does.
carry a
Yeah,
scene well.
he doesn't
And
waste moments.
no, so it was first. It was just interesting how he seemed to be picking apart the tiny part, and he seemed
Mm-hmm.
to be the only one unaware that he was doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
And um, he leaves that scene and he meets with his agent Janelle, and or he speaks to her, and
I love
she's
that
telling
actress, by
him,
the way. Love her.
"Yeah, me too. She's really good." Ex Mayo is her name. I think it's Mayo or Mayo.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think their interaction I thought was both funny, but also like, bro, you got fired from like a nothing show. So I was like, automatically, I kind of like that for a Marvel. Um, I like the idea of something like this for Marvel because I was like, where are we going with this? So I was just like, where are we going? Because not like I said, I didn't know anything about Wonder Man. So I was like, where are we getting the superhero element? Because right now, I really like whatever's happening between the two of them. I really think this is funny. So his character was already funny to me. Like how he was how he was sort of rolling out in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Like he's kind of goofy, but in a in a almost an academic way because he's very serious, he's very professional, and he
Right.
doesn't realize he this scene where he's getting fired. I thought that was kind of funny, so I think I was kind of drawn in by that because I was like, this feels different than a regular superhero show.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a fountain of knowledge, but his knowledge kind of prevents him from reading the room
Yeah,
in a
but
way.
but more than that, it just didn't feel like they were leading us to anything sci-fi occurring, is what I'm saying. I
Mm-hmm.
just felt like I was just watching. So
Thank you.
when you can
You
do
said
that,
it.
when you can just watch the characters for what they're doing, and you're not thinking about it in the sense that it's in this sci-fi genre, then you actually just care about what's happening on the screen with the actors. That takes a lot, right? When you're not relying on any graphics or any big names to come across the screen to captivate you. What was happening to him, what he was doing to himself was interesting. I was like, okay, this seems kind of silly and funny at the same time. I think I'm in. And then when we get to the end of that episode and I realize that he has a superpower, I'm like, wait, okay,
Yeah. And
okay.
that kind of leads right into my moment, which would have been in the room where um, Trevor is telling him, stop doing too much. And he's like, breathe all of your air out and then just do it. Just be, right? And then, that's kind of a funny scene. It's fun. Their
Yeah.
interaction's great. But then when Simon goes into that audition and he nails it, and you're just kind of watching an actor act. And it's always a weird thing watching actors try to act like actors, trying to
Yeah,
act like
yeah.
bad actors, or
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
act
yeah.
like good actors. That's always a fun interaction for me watching that. Um, but in this specific case, you're like, wow, like this guy,
Hmm.
you just there's so much emotion the actor is displaying about the character in those two scenes, and I
Yeah.
loved that so much. and I think that was this is good.
Yeah.
Like I just sat back and
Yeah.
went, this is good,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Me too. This is good is what I told myself too. I was
mm,
like, this is good, and I'm here for it. Except for the fact that there's the episodes to me are too short. I've seen
they were
other
short.
I've seen other series get long episodes, and I'm like, really? You gave us,
But
but okay, that's
I
fine.
think other series waste all that time, or they're like, oh, we're gonna go in this second side quest because we have so much time. I think this
Right,
kind
right,
of
right.
maybe
Yeah.
this kept them tight within this story.
No side quest.
Right. James, did you have a moment you were thinking
No,
of?
I was stuck when you asked the question. I had to think about it, but as I was hearing Sandra's take, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Like I forgot for the first five, other than I think if I remember correctly, the opening of the episode showed you the '60s or '70s version of
Yeah,
the
the
character.
Yep, yep,
William
yep,
Shatner
Yeah,
yep,
style.
yep,
Yeah.
the Star
yep,
Trek type. Oh, yeah,
yep.
which was funny. And then it took us through the whole acting, auditioning, and firing, and talking to his agent, and then bumping into Trevor at the movie
The
theater.
movie theater.
That whole sequence took me out from knowing that I'm watching a Marvel
Yeah.
MCU TV show to just it reminded me of, and Mike is not on this, the studio, the show that's I think it's Apple TV, the
Yep, yep.
studio, with Seth Rogen.
Rogan. Mm-hmm. Seth
Yeah,
Rogen.
so
Mhm.
if you watch that show, it's like meta. It's poking at itself. Like you said, there's actors pretending that they suck. There's actors that are good. There's directors. There's agents. All that stuff. Like when you watch something like that, it's almost like you are the fourth wall and you're going through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, like Sandra said, I totally forgot about the fact that this show is based on a sci-fi character, superhero character, and I was just mesmerized by what I was watching on screen with the DP, the director, the casting agent, and then the one person who has direct call to the direct. It was this was like a cool
Yeah.
shit to watch
Yeah.
until the conclusion. You realize, oh, this is
Yeah.
Wonder Man, who's part of the larger MCU.
Yeah. No fight scenes, right?
No,
That's
there
what
was
we're
none in
saying.
the
Like
first
what I'm
episode. No.
saying is
Yeah.
a
Like
lot of these
they
other
didn't even show any hint of his powers until I think the
yes,
second episode.
yes. So with no fight scenes, no you for a sci-fi superhero movie to carry itself and not show any fight scenes, not show any real power, that says a lot for you to even care to stick around long enough to see what's going on. The only one that kind of makes me think of, and unfortunately I cannot remember the name of this other MC, which I actually like, with the girl. It's
WandaVision.
no, well, not WandaVision was great. That's different.
Oh,
Uh,
you're talking about
the
probably
the
Miss
the
Marvel.
the
Miss
Indian
Marvel.
girl.
Miss
Is that
Marvel.
her
Miss
name? Miss
Marvel,
Marvel. Right. That's the only other one where I could think about that.
Bangladesh.
Bangladeshi. Sorry. Right. So that's the other one where I could think about that because they were showing you her as a daughter and then her as a student, right? You're so now you care about her as a student and what's going on at school, her at her house and what's going on with her family. You're caring about all these things before you're even thinking about a fight scene or a superpower this or superpower that.
Man, you're reminding
That
me
show,
how great that first episode was and how disappointed the rest of the season.
yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but yes, I get it. I did enjoy it as a Marvel,
Right.
but the moral of the story, like you're saying and we're saying, is when you do that, it takes a lot for you to give us no superpowers, no action in a sci-fi for us to be like, I'm on board.
Yeah, I think
I'm in.
sometimes with a great sci-fi is sometimes waiting when is the sci-fi gonna hit. Like,
Yeah.
when you started Severance,
Yeah.
when is it gonna be
Yeah.
sci-fi? And but it's there the whole time, but you're just kind of not seeing it.
hmm
But
hmm
it's still, and it's not something where you say, well, you just take the superpowers out and it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I want the superpowers to be an element, like an important element, but
Yeah.
not the only thing that makes it good. So, like, when I say WandaVision, it's still my favorite series, and her powers are very much ingrained in that show.
Right. Great
But
show.
it's like when it starts, you're kind of like, it's more like, hey, this is interesting, this is fun, this is a little
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
and then you have that hint of powers at the end of the first episode, and then obviously those get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I kind of love that, and I think you're right. This did the same thing.
That's the magic of the
Mm.
show. That's where you find that that's the magic of the show. And that's the magic of a great show. Um, these would be tall shoes to fill if we're thinking about a season two. This is the magic of the show. The magic of the show.
All right. Did you guys, so outside of this main character, main relationship, was there something else in this show that you thought was surprised you?
Sorry, I was multitasking here. The main no, I think the only thing that really surprised me was how well written and well performed, and well directed was the key moments of the show between Yaya, his family, Yaya and Trevor. Sorry, Yaya, Simon and Trevor. Even tertiary characters like his casting agent.
Yeah.
And then the agent that we saw from Spider Man, who is now for the Department of Damage Control. Like we
Damage
saw him,
control.
yeah, we saw
Yeah.
him in the last Spider-Man movie. We see him here. It's just cool how they like we just spent like 5 minutes talking about how this show wasn't so sci-fi, which was good, but they did drop hints throughout. Like the first episode on set, you could see the billboard, Steve Rogers musical now.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
you were aware that this was the MCU. It's just that to their credit, they kind of dialed it down a bit, but not muted it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was really impressed with how much care they took each episode, to really focus on the performance and the story, which isn't what we've gotten from Marvel TV last couple of years. We've gotten the bombastic superhero explosions and the powers and like all that bullshit
Yeah.
with like thin story, terrible act. Well, not terrible acting, but you guys know. Um, and like wash and repeat, rinse, wash and repeat. So I thought just watching the whole show, I was like each episode, I'm like this is good. This is good. This is real good. Holy shit, this might be top three. Oh
But
shit, this might
James,
be number
I
two.
wonder when you said that, you made me think, I wonder if the reason is it wouldn't be believable. I don't know about you, but as I am not, I'm a Marvel fan, but I am not a deep entrenched aware of all the backstories, the comic books, right?
Mm-hmm.
The character himself, Wonder Man, is not a known character like all the other Marvel characters. It's not like he was introduced in a movie or a show, a prior movie or a prior show, and we know what he's capable of. So I don't know if it would have served the series any good if he came out guns blazing, knocking people off. Because why do you know how to do this? What's happening? Right? I think it would have made it less interesting for him to display all his powers up front. So it may definitely be deliberate because they still need to sell him to us. They need to sell him to the majority of the audience because the majority of the audience are going to be people like me or people who have even less experience with the comic book. And if they got to sell it to us, you got to make us believe his superhero powers. Wonder
Yeah.
Man, like when I heard the title, I thought it was a joke because I had never heard of Wonder Man. I only know of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is DC. I was like, what is
Oh
this
boy.
Wonder? Is this like
Oh
a
Right.
boy.
parody? So I know it's a thing, right? But as people who and maybe I heard of it many, many moons ago. But the reality is a lot of people that's going to tap into this are going to be less familiar with that. And if that's the case, we can't have him coming right out, not, holding buildings up like Superman. Because he's not Superman. Who is this guy? So maybe I feel like when you pointed out they didn't do that, I feel like maybe that's why.
Yeah, but I guess the point I was trying to make is that's a pivot from Marvel MCU TV,
Yeah, yeah,
to do that, and it worked. I guess they
yeah.
gamble, and I really, honestly, I think that they gamble on this show because they kept pushing it and pushing it, and they weren't too confident. That's why they did the whole dump of all 8 episodes
Right.
at once, like how they did with the Ironheart, which
Yeah.
uh, and they lucked out. They really lucked out because
I
I think it's
mean,
90% Rotten Tomatoes right now, and
yeah, 90%. I saw they
um,
looked out.
so even the little information I didn't know, I was aware of the character from back in the '80s, West Coast Avengers, which was like another offshoot of the main Avengers, and the character is white, and he had psionic powers, and this came in. I mean, the character itself, and this is, I guess, nerd corner, stems from in the '60s when DC, Detective Comics, and Marvel were parodying each other. You know, Thanos, Darkseid, Superman, and so forth. They were like creating caricatures of another character that's more well known in the opposite universe throughout the '60s and early '70s.
Hmm.
So I thought it was weird that they picked this particular character, which again the reason why I wasn't too excited about it up until a couple weeks before the show dropped. So just to go back to the point here, I'm getting verbose. I was really impressed with how they handled the character within the story and the interactions between other characters.
Yeah.
The muting of the powers up until it was needed. Slow burn there. I thought it was fantastic. I really thought they did a great job. Home run. And I didn't even know
Yeah.
until right when we started this podcast that the director of this, the show creator, was the same guy behind Shang-Chi and the upcoming Spider-Man movie. So
Yeah.
he's
Well,
got
I will
the
say,
goods. He's got
yeah,
the goods.
I would say that that's my favorite part is that these two are these two would be considered an odd couple, and they seem already like believable best friends on the screen.
Yeah.
Simon,
And one last
Simon,
thing,
and Trevor.
Trevor, Chris, you mentioned something I was thinking about earlier. I want to get this point across is the development of Trevor's character all the way back from Iron Man 3 till now
Right.
has been really amazing. It reminds me of only one other character that's better, and that's Nebula, who another
Yeah,
character,
one of the best actually. Yeah.
another character who was like a two piece villain in the first Galaxy of Guardians movie, and by the time we get to Trash Love and Thunder, she is a phenomenal freaking character. So
Right.
Trevor to me is right below her as far as a background character who all of a sudden now is a very deep
Yeah.
character.
Well, it,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds you that way back Marvel, when it was like at its peak, was pulling in these amazing actors to do small parts. And it
Yeah.
was like, hey, we want Ant-Man. We want the old Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Michael
And,
Douglas, Michelle
we're going to get Michael Douglas. We're going to get Michelle Pfeiffer. Obviously we're going to get Ben Kingsley, but he's just going to be like a side character and kind of and turn out to be a joke and whatever, and it's fun. And then they accidentally land on this, hey, well, what if we, we're going to actually introduce the Mandarin or, Shang-Chi's dad. And so wouldn't it be funny if we brought back this character? And so this right now is where you see that accident bloom. And it's so amazing. And Ben Kingsley, oh my God, there were several scenes when he just, like, hey, acting. Hey, remember
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And
Whoa, go ahead.
and so those two characters, those two actors holding up each other, neither one could outshine the other because they were both phenomenal, and it really did drive the whole show.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I was comparing this to was the original Captain America, only for
Hmm.
for the fact that I felt they introduced me to this human that had this like deep, deep like want, this thing that they just like this desire,
Hmm.
and you connected me to that human before they ever connected me to a power. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so like if you look at
Yeah.
the big difference right now between DC and Marvel movies television is, James Gunn has decided, and I think this is a fine way to go. Hey, we are knee deep into this world where the characters are already big superheroes, and then we have to give them some humanity to connect you to them. This is the opposite, and I love this here. Connect me to the human, and then show me the hero.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think this show is kind of peak level of that kind of
Yeah.
superhero or writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, like I said, I think that's what I love best about their friendship is that Ben Kingsley, you realize as the show goes on, is not a good guy. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
setting his friend up, but they're still actually becoming friends. And at some point, it feels like those 80s movie where the girl's pretending to like the guy just to be popular or whatever, and then all of a sudden she slowly starts to fall for the guy for real,
I've been there,
and
been
it's one
thinking
of those
about
weird.
you.
Yeah, so he's for real starting to. They're starting to form friends. Yaya was already in it. That's the thing. This was a one sided friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Yaya was actually genuinely being his friend and being vulnerable to him and opening up and taking his advice because he thought he had a friend. But Ben Kingsley was working him, and then through the process of working him, he starts to like him. And now, does Yaya really know Ben? Right? In a sense, you have a friendship where this person was lying to you most of the time. And at some point, I think Ben started to turn. And he was like, I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be this person. I really like this guy. This guy's actually a good guy. Even if he's a superhero, he's a good guy. I like him. And I think I really like that because that showed strength in his friendship. And he also changed him. Like his friendship to Yaya changed who he was and made him not want to be that person. Because I know we're rushing to the end a little bit because then when it gets to the end and he's reciting the lines as they're doing their lines, you realize that he's become, not that he's become a good guy, more so he stopped being the bad guy,
There's
right?
I I think this script did a great job of using this character, Trevor specifically,
Yeah.
to have a person go from he's trying to save himself, physically to keep himself
Hmm.
out of jail and whatever, to
Yeah.
trying to save himself emotionally or
Yes.
internally, and
Yes.
that switch there, and they didn't rush it. They didn't
Yeah.
take it so slow that
Yeah.
it felt like it was, oh, this is like 5 episodes in, what's it waiting for? Like it was just like perfectly paced kind of redemption,
Yeah.
personal redemption, because he could have at any time, he had the choice at any time to do the opposite, and I think that was well written.
Yeah. That was great. Great friendship. Great story. Yep.
James, you had mentioned, um, about the Haitian aspects of this hero and the show itself, um, and there's always question when these corporations try to bring in characters from a specific background, how well they actually handle that. So I guess the question to you two is, how well did they handle it?
I'll let my sister go first.
Okay. One, I do have to give a nod to Marvel for doing that. It was very deliberate, and maybe I'm dissecting it more than they did. But there's something about taking a culture that doesn't speak English. They really wanted. He could have easily been Jamaican. He could have been Trinidadian. They all speak English, but there was something they wanted to give in terms of a different type of authenticity in the culture where not only does Trevor not know these people, but you're also around people that you actually really don't understand. And you have to find a way to interact with these people. So I did like that idea from when he was interacting with Simon's family. So I thought it was interesting, but I like that because I like the level of discomfort you have when you don't understand what a person is saying and you kind of have to be around them. You're learning about the culture, right? So they picked a culture that is very different. Also, I also think that Marvel, there's Wakanda, you have in Wakanda Forever, we realize that they go to Haiti, which is an interesting, which I feel like
Powerful
there's
moment.
definitely a
Powerful.
social and political undertone in choosing Haiti as the place where it comes from. When we're in a country where people make very disparaging comments about the country, and it's highlighted for its strength more than once. So I thought that was interesting. In terms of the believability of the culture, I thought the mom did a good job in acting like a Haitian mom, right? So I have aunties and I have Haitian, I like that level of over exuberance. That felt very real. Unfortunately, the accent would get like a B minus. It's just gonna get a B minus or a C plus. Some of the words were okay. The others, I was like, we don't roll our R's because we don't say that. We don't even, we say room when we're saying room. Like we don't do that. So it was the brother, um, Simon's brother had the worst accent, Haitian accent I've heard. There was like a straight American. So that was
Worse
terrible
on this show, not worse.
on this show.
Not Bad
It was
Boys 2
not
level.
good. Yeah, it wasn't Bad Boys too bad, but it really wasn't good at all. And um, I didn't like that. And that I felt like they could have picked an. He wasn't captivating enough that they had to use him. That they couldn't find another person that spoke Creole and they could do that. So I didn't like that. I didn't like his accent. But the other characters were all right enough. You know, I was like, all right. I mean, I'm not mad. This wasn't Grand Army because you know that Netflix show Grand Army had a couple of Haitian characters on there, and their Creole was it was like okay, I'm with this. I believe it, but it was still fine. But I think the person who doesn't know Haiti is not going to know that. I think a Haitian person is going to criticize. They're going to see that if you are with the culture. Um, so we know it, but I don't think most of the audience is going to be bothered or recognize. And I don't think they did a bad job. Um, I don't think they disrespected the culture or put Haitians in a bad light. So I appreciated that as well. They didn't do anything crazy or anything stereotypical.
Yeah.
I liked her house. She wasn't in. I'm sorry. That was important to me. She wasn't in an apartment. She was in a house. I did like that. They look like especially from an immigrant family, that they look like they were middle class. And I'm not saying it's a big deal socioeconomically, but I think when you're bringing a different culture in which people don't think of education or think of, you know, so I think that was important that they did it that way. So I did appreciate those things as some people made first, you know, begin an introduction to the Haitian culture in America on
I
screen. So
felt
I
so
do like
bad
that.
she lost her island. I was like, that is a beautiful island.
I know
And
it was beautiful.
then,
It was, he's- it was
Smashed
beautiful.
it. Great
oh
scene,
my
by the way.
god!
Great
Like,
visuals. Great scene.
Great visual. Yeah.
I mean, Sandra hit it on a nail. I think I like the fact that yes, they were unapologetically a Haitian family, but
Yeah.
it looks like they were a member of the larger community where they were living. She had a nice outdoor patio. She celebrates. She cares for her sons. She wants her son,
Yeah.
both her sons. How proud she is, even when she
Yeah.
doesn't quite know what role he's getting. She was
Yeah.
like, "Is that so?" In her accent? Is that whatever? I thought
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
cool that they showed you.
Yeah.
It's just no difference between your family and my family. One make
Yeah.
sure you've got a black sheep kid and a stellar, overachiever kid, and you try to
Yep.
get both of them to be in the same room. I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't Bad Boys 2 level,
It's not that.
stereotypically bad. It was very good,
No. No.
and I was proud to even before I watched the show, I knew that they had hired someone, a Haitian American, to help. Disney thought it was important enough to get it right, and I saw an interview of Yaya where he was talking about that. Clearly, Yaya's not Haitian American himself, but he thought it was great. It helped him with his acting too, to learn how to
Yeah.
speak and learn how to understand certain words and know more about the character that's rewritten. It's not an exact copy of the Marvel
Yeah.
comics. It's a rewritten character for
Yeah.
MCU. So yeah, good job, good job.
What about the father? That's another one I forgot to bring up. I thought it was good that the father was in his life. He
Yes,
wasn't a
he
deadbeat.
wasn't an
He didn't
absentee
leave the
father.
family. And the interaction between the son and the father after the movie, it felt very believable in terms of how it's I like that. I like that they did that.
I'm gonna say I'm glad you didn't see him die on screen.
Uncle
Me
Ben.
too.
I was
He did
very
Uncle Bennett. They
prepared.
didn't Uncle Bennett.
I know.
I was so worried. I'm like, no, no, don't do this.
Oh
And
shit! Oh,
Right.
Aunt
like,
May.
it happens like story wise,
Yeah.
so like I didn't have to watch it.
Yeah.
It was already there.
Thomas Wayne, Pa Kent,
Yeah.
Exactly.
We can think of a bunch of them
a bunch
that
of
we didn't
dead
need to see
parents
die.
on screen that we watched.
It didn't move the plot along. It didn't move the story along. So I liked, you know, not giving us superfluous information that didn't move the story along. Like the doorman, which we don't talk about, that episode.
I was
That
waiting for
moved the
that.
story along.
That
I was
is
waiting for
that
that.
is interesting question because you're right that it gave the father scene gave us just that hint of backstory of
Yeah.
why this role, this movie is so specifically important to him. Okay, we got that. The
Yeah.
doorman thing is a good question of should this have been in there? Should this have been a hey, the series is over, you can watch this special extra episode about the doorman, or just wipe it out altogether?
No, I
No,
disagree.
I liked it.
I
I
thought
liked it.
under my second watch with Eric, I saw more purpose behind that particular episode. By
Yeah.
far the best episode of the show. Because if you recall, he was in the closet about his powers for all of his life, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people closest to him, who may or may not have known, I mean, I guess obviously his mom and brother knew, but his ex girlfriend hinted that she always knew. He The reason why he continued to hold that as a secret as a working actor is because of the doorman
Right.
Yeah.
experience. It's
Yeah.
because of what happened to that character. And then he was telling Ben Kingsley in the car, which starts that episode, is you don't want to be what's his name, so and so and so, which he did
Hmm.
not want to be. He wanted to be able to show off his acting ability and not be
Hmm.
used as a enhanced being, special effects, caricature character like the doorman. So I thought on my second watch, I was like, I see why this episode is placed right here. This is good. This is good writing.
But this is also to show the consequence of people knowing that he was a superhero and that he was right in hiding it.
And it's
And I
fair.
think that
He's
even
right
if
to be
it
afraid.
was, yeah, even if it was less about, them exploiting him, it was also about the guy was living a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
He loved his job. He was a doorman at a nightclub and was great at his job.
He was
And then his
content.
life content and it doesn't matter he was a doorman. He said I could be anywhere but I love here. Then he gets these superpowers and it ruins his life. When it looks like it's going to make his life better, ultimately it just showed no matter what it would ultimately find a way to lead to his demise. So it further, not just for acting, it further supported why he should never let anyone know that he has superpowers, because his life, whatever bits of it is imperfect, would be ruined. The life that he has,
Yeah,
the
it'd be
life that he wants to attain. So I really like that episode. At first I was like you when I was watching it, why is it a whole episode? But then as I watched it more, I was like, oh, it kind of makes sense. You give me the human being before
Mm-hmm.
the tragedy. Don't just give me the they gave us him before going through it and then the ultimate demise. So I like that
By the
episode.
way, I love the fact that he was also an African American character too. It wasn't a white
Yeah, yeah.
character or another person of different race or a woman character. I like the fact that
Yeah.
they tied it as similar as possible between the two, just to drive that point
Yeah.
extra, home extra.
I mean, we're not in Utah. So I like when they do, and I'm just being honest. Like, if you're in Utah and you give me a whole crew of black people doing certain things, I'm gonna be like, stop. Right? But you're not. You're in LA, right? You're in a very diverse city. So it's weird to try to tell stories that are all centered. You can't do that. And like, to me, it's inauthentic. I think telling a story and a doorman, I think telling a story like this with this level of diversity, is just about keeping it real, right? Because that's where you are. You didn't place them in the middle of Montana. Like, I'm not saying we're not there. I'm just saying, you
Yep.
know? So I like that. I like
All right.
it's
So I think right now we're gonna grade the show, and then I have one last question for both of you after we
okay.
finish the grading.
Okay.
I'll let you go first, Sandra.
Okay. Um, I'm honestly teetering between an A and an A minus.
Mm.
Um, and I feel like I'm gonna lean towards more of an A minus than an A. Um, and this is just my thing. I would have wanted longer episodes.
Why you sound like me? Ah, shit. You basically copied everything I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. Well,
That's
you know,
awesome.
I would have wanted longer episodes, and that's kind of where because I'm not gonna say it
Like
ended abruptly.
Murderbot.
because
Yes, like Murderbot.
right, like the murder bot. I'm not gonna say that because murder bot was another really that was a sleeper.
It was a great show, but it had
It was a
really
great
short
show,
episodes. You're like, what the
right?
hell? Give me an hour.
Because it isn't a show where they are verbose. It isn't a show because their tertiary characters are good. The tertiary
Well said.
stories,
Yep.
the secondary stories are good. They didn't give us enough about the relationship, him and his girlfriend, they broke up. They didn't need to do a lot, but I was okay seeing a little bit more, you know? I was okay seeing a little bit more of the back and forth with his brother, even the real drama. I was okay with that. And even as they're training, I'm sorry, as they're actually filming, I was okay with that, and I could have used a longer escape episode of the breaking, escape from Alcatraz. Give me a little bit longer episode than that.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I'm gonna give it an A minus and not an A like Task. Though I find the acting, the cinematography, everything else to be on point, but you don't need to be like Chipotle and skim on the chicken. Give me some more chicken. What are we doing here? Give me a
Double
little
meat.
bit more chicken in this bowl.
Double meat.
That's kind of how I feel. So, Jamie.
Pause. Pause on that. No, Sandra yet again. She covered almost all of my points. I was teetering between an A and A minus. I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts before I finalized my grade. And yeah, I'm gonna give it an A minus for two reasons, not just for one. One is definitely the fact that I thought the episodes were too short. Um, Two, I wish we could have got a little more information on the Department of Damage Control, only because
Yeah.
I, for those of us like Chris and I who know every little bits and pieces about the MCU, we know from Captain America 4, the President Harrison Ford was on a
Hmm.
crusade against heroes and formed the Avengers, and then now he's at the Raft. The
They were
Sokovia
also
Accords,
in Spider-Man.
yes, and Spider Man. The Sokovia Accords are still in effect, from what I believe,
Right.
as far as the last Spider Man movie. So I wanted to get more understanding how does this fit the Department of Damage Control? How they were obviously they had a case already on Simon, and not sure how many other superheroes across the country. Definitely in New York, you got Mayor Fisk, who has his own ice hunting down vigilantes.
Right.
So I wish we could get a little bit more about that, but that sounds like I'm
Hmm.
nitpicking. But yeah, I'm an A minus. I feel like
Okay.
which is still a good grade, uh,
Excellent grade.
excellent grade. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Chris.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna be just a touch higher than two of you. I'm gonna sit at a straight A. And
Okay.
number one,
Surprised. I'm not
I
surprised.
can't tell the difference in accents. I'll tell you right now. Like, I can't tell a
I
good
know.
accent from a bad accent. Doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
Sounded great. Sounded perfect in my ears, whatever. I have a
Yes.
tinny ear. Just ask James. He knows. Like, I don't hear that stuff very much. Um, and the most important thing for me, and I've said this on a lot of reviews for things for good and for ill, is the main relationship has to work. Like, you go back to like Eternals, where the main relationship failed that movie, and that could have been
Mhm.
a better movie if those main relationships worked. In this case, it worked beautifully. It was like just perfect. Now there wasn't, as you said, there's shorter episodes, so the story was very condensed, very focused. So like it didn't spread out. It didn't try to do a lot of B plotting. It didn't try to give us a lot of secondary characters to think about and worry about. So I'm not sure I could give it quite an A plus, but I think it's focused. It was really well done, and I thought the characters were great, and it didn't try to over-explain things. It didn't. It didn't try to give us his background or the background of Haiti, or you know, speaking of Miss Marvel, didn't try to give us too much
Mhm.
background.
Oh yeah,
Where
shit.
overfilled the time that they had and focused on the character. So that would be
What would
why
be your A
an
plus,
A.
Chris? What's an A plus? You said it's not an A plus. What's an A plus to you?
Marvel,
Well,
Marvel, not you know.
No,
right?
I
No,
want to
no,
know
no.
his.
I know.
Yeah.
My A plus is Captain America, Captain America 2, Captain America 3. Like those are my A pluses. Now movies are
Let's focus on TV shows, not the
TV.
movies.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
TV
So
shows.
so my number one TV show is WandaVision.
Okay,
And
and
Man,
that's an A plus.
that
that's
I th-
that's a straight
see
A for me.
I think it's an
That's an
A,
A for me too.
leaning towards an A plus, but that final episode is kind of painful. But I did rewatch it recently, and it is an amazing show. It is so peak those first, like all through the episodes, and I even give it more grace in the finale now.
Mm.
But
Mm.
that's my A plus
Okay,
series, and so
all right.
this would be Loki.
Nah,
Oh,
dude. Loki season 2 is an A plus for me.
See, I'm
okay,
not as high as on Loki as you are. I'm
Season
more
okay.
2,
A minus on
that
Loki.
second season.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Um,
Sometimes the sci-fi, the it's not. We're not doing a review. I don't want to do that. But
yeah.
some of that
We should do
stuff goes over my head.
we
That
should do a whole thing. All right.
we
So
should.
so
Okay.
now that that's out of the way, here's my question. So something I've been wondering and thinking about a lot, and that is, should film universes that have these TV elements, this would be DC, this would be Star Wars, and obviously this is Marvel, and
Hmm.
Dune is starting to do it. Should they make these series completely disconnected from the movies, in the sense that I could watch all the movies and get the story, like Star Wars, but if I watch the TV show, I can enjoy them. They're linked in the universe, but they're not necessary. I know this is killed by my WandaVision love, and that's like completely linked within the movie universe. But like if we think of Werewolf by Night, if we think of Moon Knight, if you think of this so far, Echo, and you say you can watch this, and this character is not gonna show up in the next Endgame or Secret Wars or whatever. This is just a great story that's happening in this universe, but you don't have to go watch
Mm.
anything else to understand what's going on, and you don't have to watch this to go watch the next movie. Like, do you
Right.
think they should
Mm.
push that more,
I'll let Sandra
or
go
do you
first.
prefer it like, hey, if you don't watch Ahsoka, or Mandalorian and Grogu is the perfect one. You're not gonna know why you're watching Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater if you haven't watched 3 seasons of the Mandalorian on television.
Um,
So,
you know what? I think the answer is gonna. This is not a politically correct answer. I think there's a place for both, and I
mm-hmm.
Oh,
think the reason is the
you are.
universe is.
I should have went first then. Damn it.
Sorry, oh my God. I think the universe, the ones that you gave me, these are so big that I feel like they're meant to be that way. That there are many stories to tell that don't necessarily have to do with one, has to do with the other, because the universe of the MCU, of the DC, of the Star Wars, they're tremendous. That there are many side stories in the same era that you don't need to know. But I think there's a little bit of a fallacy because they're not completely disconnected, because there are Easter eggs all over all of them that you don't need to watch it, but there are remnants of MCU in the Avengers in Wonder Man. Like you said, they had the Captain America. And so you have some things that are in there. The benefit is you don't need to know any backstory to appreciate and watch this. And I think it's actually smart, and I'm gonna take it a little further. It's smart of them to do that because that may be the person's first introduction. And they may say, oh, now maybe I'm gonna start watching X, Y, and Z. Maybe
I
I'm
can
gonna go back and watch Captain America. Maybe I'm gonna go back and learn more. So that might
I
just be what whet his appetite. So I
I
think I think
I need
it's
to
valid.
ask you this before I forget, and
Uh-huh.
that so because Trevor comes from Shang-Chi, and before that he
Mhm.
comes from Iron Man 3. So if
Hmm.
you have not watched those, and both of those are several years old, if not almost a
Yeah.
decade now, do you think? And I don't know when the last time you watched it, as a person who's not as like too far into these things, like
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Trevor character? And were you like a little lost at first, or did it click very
Didn't
quickly?
even click. Didn't click till this call. Didn't click who he was until this podcast.
So you
It's
felt
been a
like the
while. I
show
watched all of them.
told you enough.
I watched all of them. I just, so this is where we go back to me trying to enjoy something for what it is. Because
Mm.
not having that connection allowed me to appreciate it. But now that I know that, it's going to make me go back and watch Shang-Chi. It's going to make me go back and watch Iron Man 3. Things that I've watched 100 times already. But it's been so long since I've watched them, I don't remember it. But it also proves the point that you don't need to know any of those things to have enjoyed it. That may now make you want to go back and watch these things. This show may make you want to do that. So, yeah, I love that they did that. I think it's bold. I think in a way, it's also maybe a little bit arrogant to think that people are going to be like, I can just watch this even though I saw nothing else and I'm going to care. But it works. It worked. So it worked. James, I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to answer all the questions first next time I come on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same answer, but I think I'm coming in from a different angle. So
Okay.
like you, I think you could do both. It's not politically correct. It's just a better approach. You can have a TV show be standalone and be phenomenal, like Andor, because the average person who heard about Andor is watching it probably didn't watch all of the animated shows,
Yeah.
Rebels, because there's a moment that happens in season 2 that ties directly to Star Wars Rebels cartoon show that ended last year. But if you're not knowing that, it doesn't make Mamotha's speech any less spectacular. And it's like the comic books, right? Chris, we grew up in the comic books. Like, you would get an issue of the X-Men, and all of a sudden, Wolverine's missing, and then you pick up She-Hulk, and you see Wolverine with She-Hulk. And then they have their own little escapades, and then he comes back to the X-Men. So, just like the comic books in the 80s, some of us who grew up reading the comic books, you'd have crossovers, and you have standalone shows that you knew existed in the same Earth 616, but it was standalone from beginning to end. 12 issues, a limited series. You enjoyed the character, you enjoyed the story, and then you never saw that character or maybe the villain again until 5 years again they retcon the character, they bring it back. My only trepidation with the idea of saying I like both standalone and connected is you still have to respect the universe, which I think Marvel has been really MCU has had problems with. For example, Secret Invasion. You give us this show where you basically not retcon, you disavow everything that happened in Avengers Endgame and everything else at the sacrifice of making your lead character this all-powerful character that is a super Skrull that has a power of Captain Marvel and Thanos and Hulk and which doesn't make sense in a larger overall MCU film universe. So I think you can do both, but you have to respect the IP that you're in. Like, for
Yes.
example,
Yes.
if Andor out of nowhere had force powers, we
Yeah.
still like, well, what the fuck is
So
happening now?
so if we're, because I was thinking of this the same thing, and it was how well Andor made you know you were in Star Wars without smashing you in the face with a lightsaber, like say Mandalorian did in specifically season 3 more. So I've
Travesty.
talked about the Vader scene, but anyway, or the Luke Skywalker slash Vader scene in season 2. But the fact that in season 3 they kind of it felt like there was a weird twist, that it was like, oh, we're turning up the rest of the universe volume within this show that
Yeah.
you've liked for the show.
We're gonna throw Ahsoka
Right.
in there. We're gonna throw Luke in there.
Right.
We're gonna
And
throw
some
everything.
some of the television shows do that more than others, and I was very happy that it didn't feel like, even though we saw the the musical Captain America in the background, and Trevor has got this terrorist background, and that's why it's going to advertise, Iron Man 3 for you. But it never felt like you got to a point where you're like, okay, now it's MCU time, and you're like,
Right.
right? It still kept, I'm this story, I'm these people, and this is what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't sacrifice the overall IP. You don't say, yeah, what snap? There was no such thing as a snap. People made it up.
Right.
It's a conspiracy theory. Then you're like, wait a minute, time out here. We fucking know what happened.
I would be interested in a conspiracy theorist, anti-snap conspiracy theorist within the Marvel universe. That would be funny. Like,
fake news.
Not to bring in current politics.
Do you know anybody that
having
was
a
snapped?
conspiracy
I wasn't
theorist
snapped.
Would be
I
fun.
don't use that word anymore. Conspiracy theories is propaganda. I'm just gonna call them. I'm gonna call them straight up theories based on facts yet to be confirmed.
Yo, you sound like
That's it.
my buddy in town here, Chris.
Look,
Oh no, they're theories based on facts yet
flat
to be
earthers
confirmed.
are the only
That's
ones
it.
who's not coming true, and that's
Yeah, what was it? They said in Doctor Strange, magic is science yet to be proven.
Yeah, there it is. So we're not no longer calling because I've got mud on my face this last couple of weeks. So I just gotta be like, maybe I wasn't crazy. So,
all right.
But yeah.
So let's not give Mike too much more to edit. So
Yes, sorry, Mike. We did a lot.
We very much appreciate you joining us, Sandra, and giving us a
You're
better version of the
welcome.
things James would tell us.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know.
It's good to
I
hear.
know.
It's good to hear another smart person in this podcast.
No, ironically, and the funny thing is, there's a lot of things. Not a lot, but we watch shows all the time and see things differently. But sometimes you and I are lock in step on certain things. And we'll be talking to be like, yeah. And I feel like I don't know what that is, but there's something very cerebral about the way we watch it. But I think not that you're not, Chris, but I think that James, you take it further with all of your background information that is so important to you to have these things. It's so important for me to feel the movie and the show and not be, and I told you, I don't like to be influenced. I don't watch reviews. Sometimes I don't even watch the about. If I like the actor, I'm just like, I'm in. I'm signing up for this just so it could be a real authentic, and that was the word I wanted to use before. I wanted to be an authentic experience for me, and this was, and I think I like it even more because it's authentic and I had zero expectations. My expectations were completely managed. So season 2, they're gonna have to now have expectations. So
That's always the hard
yeah,
part when you have
yeah,
expectations.
when you have expectations, yep.
All right. And to our audience, we appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us
Thank
on any of
you.
your favorite social medias, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, whatever have you. And
Yeah.
comment. Talk to us. What do
Anything.
you want? What did you like? What did you dislike? Tell me what you think of the accents.
Yes, and I know we're
Yes.
getting some engagement in recent podcasts,
Yes,
so we
appreciate
appreciate that. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Please continue to leave a comment. Do not text me direct or hit me on social media. Leave a comment below this video.
Absolutely.
Share it with your friends of like-minded interests. Thumbs it up. Do what you gotta do. Let's go.
Or anybody that just wants a
1,000
review.
subscribers. Let's go.
And if you thought Sandra made the show, tell us and we'll bring her back.
More often. Like we watch shows and we're not paid.
We're here for the fun of it. That's what we're here
For real. For the love of it.
for the
Yeah,
For
love
the
of it.
love.
For the fun of it, for the love of it. And
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. You have a great week. We'll see you later.
All right.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.